Hello there, welcome back to forecast discussion. We have moderate risk severely tomorrow across all of stretching from northeastern Louisiana and eastern Arkansas going into southwestern Tennessee and all of Mississippi going to Alabama, the Florida Peninsula. Wind has risk surrounding that as well as a slight risk and a marginal risk. This could be a big time event. This is mostly going to be a damaging wind event, but we do have that 15% hatched risk of tornadoes. I think that really the main concern, I think, really for significant tornadoes will be near along the coast where greatest thermodynamics will be, especially remaining as well with those really large photographs. So I think the greatest chance for some supercells really in the open warp sector or embedded within the QLCS is looking to be along the coast of along the Gulf Coast. Apart from that, widespread damaging winds can be really expected, as well as maybe some isolated hail, but I don't think hail should be really that noteworthy. Take a look at the current surface pattern. We have a 988 millibar surface low. We do have a line of storms that has right now been developing across Missouri, going into Oklahoma. That's going to continue to really develop overnight. Take a look at that. Take a look at the 500 millibar pattern, and definitely see a pretty broad, positively tilted long wave trough, and not really much forcing along the fronts, keeping the storm mode mostly linear. Although there has been a few tornado warnings. There's actually a tornado warning right now for St. Joseph's, and pretty evident bow echo approaching Kansas City as we speak. And looking at that low level jet, it's been strengthening. If you saw our last video just a few hours ago, because around 30 to 40 knot low level jet, it's right now around 50 knot. It's going to really strength ramping up. You can definitely see that 60, nearly maybe 70 knot low level jet places, but mostly going to be 60, 65 knot seems to be the best bet. That low level jet is going to strengthen overnight. So anyways, moving on. We'll take a look at the overall pattern for tonight going to tomorrow. Do have 0 NAMs right now loading. So looks like we have to look at 18 Z NAM for a bit. Then maybe we'll check back later. But take a look at 18 Z NAM. You can see that trough shears out. And also really a concern along the Gulf Coast. It seems you can definitely see the flow 500 millibar seems to be a tiny bit more westerly compared to the more north, less meridional, and that ejects off to the northeast, maybe a severe risk across the northeast and along the Gulf Coast, but we're going to be mostly focusing on tomorrow. Looking at that low level jet, you can definitely see that low level jet ramping up after 0Z. And you can definitely see a strong 70, 75 knot low level jet strengthening throughout the day to around 0Z, around 70, 80. That overnight, even low level jet X is around 90 knots. Really strong low level jet. Really potent. And tomorrow, see dew points much in the 60s, and we can take a few soundings. Actually, we'll take a few. We'll take one there and there. It seems to be time contaminated. Don't think that would be representative, and I don't even know where this one even is. I accidentally took one a bit further north, I guess. Take one out in the open warm sector as well. Just this is our 21Z. Really potent Louisville jet. Definitely seeing strong curvature, strong high storm motion. So, and then both. This is basically what we see at 21Z. Really large photographs. Despite time being some contamination, I think might be a bit representative still, but quite a lot of veering in the low levels. And let's take a look at the photograph map. Photograph map, and let's get. So take a look at 21Z. You can see a lot of large photographs, really large photographs to say the least, and especially along the coast, you can definitely see stronger thermodynamics, better, and still seeing really large photographs as well. That's gonna be definitely a big concern, really, and especially if you get a few supercells going, you'll be seeing some quite considerably large tornado threat, especially when you have photographs that big. The overnight thermos really don't really look as good. So those photographs start to really, as the greatest instability is a bit more displaced from the vestiaire. I think the storms will be past it anyways. So anyways, let's take a look at the recent RIP. This only goes out to 19Z. So I guess we'll take a look at 21Z. Positively tilted. And then we have a short wave checked off to the north and east throughout the day, and take a look at what. So I think I might have a better grip, but taking a look at that, Louisville jet blossoms overnight. See a cranking near 75, 80 knot Louisville jet strengthening, especially throughout the day. It's not looking too good, and then moisture wise, I think might also have a better grip on it, but take a look at it. Mid 60s dew points reaching all the way up north into Illinois. It does. Take a look at surface pattern. Let's take a look at surface low track. We have that surface low over Nebraska, goes into Iowa, and then into Illinois at around 0Z. So take a pretty large warm sector, but this is gonna probably be along a pretty large QLCS, and we'll take a few soundings. Louisiana into Mississippi. And then we'll take a few at 0Z as well. This one. Guess our one. Okay, this is a bit further south. You know what? Let's take a look at the photograph map at take a look at the photograph map on around 21Z. Okay. So take a look out ahead of the line. It seems like behind it, you're definitely seeing a tiny bit more not really as good photographs. But out ahead of the line, you're seeing some pretty large photographs. Pretty limited instability though. You can definitely see those. The shade areas, tiny bit less a lot more lighter tint to it. So meaning that there's less instability, and then take a sounding along the Gulf Coast actually. So we can see what it's so anyways, pretty large photograph right there. Cranking a 60 knot low level jet out of the south and west. Back surface winds. Definitely, you can see those winds are getting close, pretty southwesterly. If we take a sounding a bit further to the north, you'll definitely see quite a large difference between, and it's a tiny bit contaminated. Whoops. We'll take a sounding right there. Okay. So, despite the photograph goes a tiny bit off screen, you can definitely see a lot more westerly. Even despite weaker flow aloft, you can definitely still see that quite a difference. That now flow is a tiny bit more meridional for the north. For our south, it's more westerly. So again, that could be quite a big issue. Along the Gulf Coast, I think. Really, given how high storm oceans are, I think there's going to be probably significant tornadoes, many of them anyways, just because of how easy, really, it's still technically not easy, but it's easier now with 70 knot storm ocean than it is like a 20 knot or 30 knot, 40 knot storm ocean to get a significant tornado out of it. So I think there will be probably significant tornadoes anyways. It's going to be within the QLCS, but supercells that develop near the Gulf Coast will have the greatest possibility to produce maybe an intense tornado. And just given because of how strong winds are aloft, it's safe to say there's going to be a ton of QLCS tornadoes and widespread damaging winds. I'm not going to toss out the D word, but the serial D word, because I think it might not be that. I'm not going to use it just yet, unless confidence is really that high. We'll take a look at the cams, but anyways, let's take a look at CONUS actually. Let's take a look at 500 millibars, 850 millibars, dew points, and then take a few soundings at 21Z and 0Z, and then we'll look at simulated reflectivity among all the cams, and definitely see that shortwave diving into from Nebraska into Iowa tonight. So it's probably associated with that line of storms. But anyways, see pretty strong shortwave trough ejects northward, shears out. Strong belt of flow around the base of the shortwave. And then overnight, of course, that little jet blossoms, and you can definitely see a 70, 80, a 75 knot little jet. That's a big time little jet. So it's when that happens, that's pretty big, low key. That's definitely not what you really want to see. And it's really, really concerning, to say the least. And I mean, it's not just for tornadoes. It's for 850 millibars, it's not that hard to get a mixed surface from thunderstorms, so I think I was a bit surprised this morning, but yesterday we didn't really go over the environment over squall line, so we're mostly focusing on the environment out ahead of it, see the potential for open warm sector supercells, which still seems to be pretty uncertain right now. So take a look at dew points now while this loads. Take a sounding from 21Z, and we'll take a sounding up in northern Mississippi to see how it looks like. Okay, this is taking a tiny bit right now, but 1 minute. Okay, now we should be good. Okay, contamination, and we'll take a tiny bit out, I guess. This is really, really, really slow. Still contaminated. Okay. We'll take a few soundings out ahead of if this works or not. So it's running a bit slow. And we just stop for a minute, let's grab a few soundings, and then yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll be right back. Okay, we got everything to work. But anyways, take a look at the hodograph map, and right now you can definitely see out ahead of the line. You can see a lot of pretty varied wind profiles, ton of veering aloft with height, and a lot of storm relative felicity. Meanwhile, along the line, you can definitely see where the line is. Just because of how the line is, you're seeing more of a backed wind profile. Marginal thermos and pretty skinny cape. 70 knot low level jet backed of near the southwest. Let's take a sounding a tiny bit further south into time of contamination. We'll take one time further east. Basically same story. Large photograph, marginal thermos, steep low lapse rates, but mid-level lapse rates are looking pretty bad to say the least. Let's take a look at 0Z, and let's take a sounding near Mobile. See how that's looking, and tiny of a kink in that photograph. Whether that'll be actually there, we'll have to see tomorrow. Better thermo, to say at least, around just over 1,000 joules, per kilogram of mixed layer cape. 74/68. better lapse rates, 7, but still mid-level is tiny bit sucking, and but still pretty solid photograph. Despite tiny bit of a lackluster mid-level shear. Take a sounding a tiny bit more from the north here, just to the northwest of Birmingham, and Skinny Cape profile 300 only 400 joules per kilogram surface inversion. If it wasn't for the strongest kinematics, I think really this would be a pretty terrible sounding. But despite that, you still have some pretty impressive shear, up to around a 70 knot low level jet, strong mid level shear, strong shear all around, and that's why I think tomorrow is really gonna be. And strong, and then you can definitely see large looping autograph again, a lot of veering with height, and I think along the Gulf Coast, it could be bad. It's gonna be bad overall. I think for 20 up Central, it's gonna be further south. But anyways, and remember we have a moderate risk across much of northeastern Louisiana, eastern Arkansas, southwestern Tennessee, all of Mississippi, one Alabama and Florida peninsula. 15% tornado, 30%, 45% significant wind, 15% significant tornado, and 5% wind, hail. Personally, I think main tornado potential is going to be along the Gulf Coast. Further north, I think tornado potential is going to be, it's still going to be there despite the pretty intense kinematics, but I think more of a significant damaging wind threat seems to be the main case, especially across Mississippi. Not going to throw out the D word just yet. If you see me throw out the D word, it will be tomorrow during tomorrow's nowcasting discussion. It might be a bit late. It's gonna be a time of a busy day. And I probably won't be able to make one of these until, I'd hope, 4 or 5 p.m. Central Time, but it might be later than that. Maybe it could be closer to 0Z, but I'll be tracking the event throughout the day though, and keeping an eye on it. But yeah, but anyways, really quite a big day tomorrow, and I forgot actually. Well, we went over anyways, but one more thing. Check what cams are showing. Take a look at the HER, the NAM 3 kilometer. Probably take a look at the FE3 as well, or the HER NAM 3 kilometer, I guess. But anyways, take a look at the HER. QLCS develops overnight. You can see those helicity tracks. But see a time of some both. And you can definitely see maybe some supercells. Hinting at some supercells, maybe some cells just along the line just shortly after 0Z. That line's probably going to be weakening by then though. And that line's going to weaken probably after 0Z. Being at full strength, probably with potentially widespread damaging winds around 19, 21, 22Z. And then weakening after that. Take a look at the NAM 3 kilometer. Remember, simulated reflectivity. I'd be taking these with a grain of salt. And NAM 3 kilometer, large QLCS. I think, of course, it doesn't really show a cool pool. And shows time of some supercells, hinting at least at some supercells along the Gulf Coast. But I think how linear. I think it's underdoing how linear. It's showing more of a messy showing a type of a mess, though. Still pretty a pretty linear mode though, especially further north. Take a look at FE3 last thing, and linear mode develops quite a few supercells, especially along the Gulf Coast as well. And after dark, it weakens, and yeah. That's really it for the FE3 for the cams, I mean. And apart from that's really it. Quite a big day tomorrow, and apart from that's